All right, well, thanks for joining us. We wanted to do the Nexus Urban Living Investor Update. We're at the approaching the end of the third quarter in 2023, and this is something that we've talked about doing since before we even closed on the property, is doing an investor webinar to answer questions and talk about progress. And so we're really proud to present this to you. And we'll just, I guess, jump in. I'm Lindsay Haynes. I'm with Metric Property Management. Your other GPs are here too. Trevor Thompson is on, Ryan Tannell, Tony Castronovo, and Senate Eskridge. I don't think that Scott and Andy are able to join us tonight. I don't see them on the list, but Andy Cairns and Scott McDonald are also partners, and we'll make sure they get a copy of this too. So jumping right in. Some overall quick stats comparing November to September is really fun. Okay, our occupancy and trend has drastically improved from 77% when we took over, 70% occupied, and trend when we took over, and we dropped even a little bit more than that the first month, up to an 88% occupancy right now, trending 93. Trend means if everybody who's on notice to move out moved out, and everybody who has applied to lease moved in, where would we land? And that's what that 93 number is. We've got 9 vacants right now compared to 17 vacants this time in November. 4 of those 9 are already pre-leased, so very proud about that. Our market rent is flat at $11.70, but the actual rent is really impressive. Actual rent, I'm having a hard time reading this screen. It's a little bit too small. $8.70, I believe, for the actual rent. And then the actual rent right now is $1,000. So that means that we've improved the rent in place for the contracts that we have in place by over $100 since we took over. All right, we've got some great capital improvements. I'm sorry, my presentation looks really funky, guys. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to do this a different way.
Yeah, I noticed on the first slide, a little bit was cut off on the right as well.
Yep. All right, are we at the beginning of the investor presentation?
Yes.
Thank you. Let's catch up. Okay. In July of 2023, we achieved an impressive 97.3% occupancy. We were really proud about that one. We have dropped back down to 88%, but again, those are pre-leased, so we'll be at 93% here in the next couple of weeks. The average occupancy, important to note, in San Antonio right now is 88%. Just in full transparency, 2023 has been a very challenging year industry-wide. There's a lot of new product on the market. Of course, we have our economy that we're dealing with. So most communities in San Antonio are sitting at about 88%. We're proud that we're regularly surpassing 90% occupancy. All right, we had a 29.8% revenue improvement. From November of 2022, our revenue was $55,041. August of 2023, our revenue is $71,488. That's all income. So 29%, we're very proud of. Our net operating income improvement was $32,309. In November, our NOI was actually negative $13,120. In August, the NOI is $19,189. And as you'll see, a lot of these pictures are after pictures of some of our renovations, which we'll go over later. Now, if we're comparing actual to budget and pro forma, I got the question earlier, what's the budget and what's the difference between the budget and the pro forma? Property management sets its own operating budget independent of the pro forma, but you as investors are most interested in the pro forma. So the budget is our goal as property management. Income, if we were just comparing actual to pro forma, our actual income year to date for 2023 is $509,241 versus pro forma of $570,520. The expenses are right in line. Our actual expenses for $100,422 versus pro forma of $401,915. And then NOI actual year to date is 108,818 versus pro forma of 168,604. So important to note that we're well aware that we're under on our NOI here. That's about a $60,000 difference, but we're going to go over some savings that we found here shortly and see how we've made up for that. And I'll let Trevor jump into the capital improvements.
Yeah, so we've obviously been sending a lot of updates on your monthly updates with some photos. We spent a lot of energy trying to make Nexus what I'm going to refer to as a very attractive place to live. So we've added a pool deck, pool furniture, pergolas, spent a lot of time and money on landscaping. We added 3 pergolas, 3 barbecue pits, really did it. We restriped the entire parking lot and covered. We did a bunch of work on the fences, what looks amazing. We upgraded all the lighting and fixtures. And I gotta say, huge difference. Like, I visit the property day and night, and it was significant, the changes that we were able to make. I would say that there's about 60% more light on the property. And we all know what light does. It makes it a safer, better place to live. I would feel comfortable my daughter getting out of her car and walking to one of our apartments. And then just recently, we've updated the signage, and not in this next investor update, but the future one, you'll see a much more improvement about our signage. So we've been sharing pictures as we go along, but you can see on here, you know, just again, when we first took over Nexus, that little plan in the top left was a hole full of garbage. It was pretty, you know, there you'll see some of the unit number signage on the next one. The pool, we added the deck up in the right-hand side. You can see around the landscaping, we added 3 pergolas, 3 barbecues, 1 large one, 2 small ones. Again, you can see all of the trees are very well landscaped. The property looks 180% better. It really does. And our contractors, asset manager that Lindsay has. So you can see on the fences here, all of these fences were falling down. They'd never been painted. Just a tremendous effort that we made on this property. I'm very pleased and proud of how it looks. And again, it was a team effort. We worked really, really hard as a team to get this done. And one of the things too, in case you've never seen it, there is a YouTube channel where I actually walk units before and after. I walk while we're doing renovations. So if you've never got the YouTube channel, I put a lot of energy into trying to show you things that are happening. So the biggest sort of news here is our original CapEx budget was about $600,000. We've actually to date spent a little over $403,000. Now, there are some things that we still need to leave in reserves. For example, we had 112,000 reserved for roofs. When you're buying a property that's in the 60s, you may have it. We've knocked wood, we've been lucky, but we want to make sure that we keep some money in reserves. We also had in there, we were going to renovate a classic unit. Well, the guy re-signed at market rent without any renovations. So why would we spend $15,000? He literally, we thought for sure he would not. And he left upgraded it. So there are some things about $100,000 that we're going to consider as reserves of things we still need to spend. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, as Lindsay mentioned, we didn't quite meet our NOI, but we, instead of earn our way to our pro forma, we saved our way to our performance, the way to look at it. So we've actually achieved our numbers, just not in the direct path that we hope to. But we'll talk a little bit more. We believe that we'll earn our NOI before, but Lindsay will get into some of that. But the property looks really good. And again, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. And we have some professional videos happening for some marketing next week. So we'll make sure that we also upload that for the investors.
And then Ryan's going to talk to us about all the marketing efforts that we put in place to turn this thing around.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So we've done quite a bit of work. You know, if anything, you know, spending money on the exterior and making it look great and livable is wonderful. But unless anybody knows about your property, they're not going to even come check check out everything you've done. So after we've done these improvements, we've gone through and we've done photos. We actually staged one of the units. And we took some high quality photos that we put online on Zillow, apartments.com, our website. We even have videos and tours and one of those 360, you can click through every unit, every room in the unit and see what it looks like inside. So that's been helping to attract some people in. We've also put some signs and banners on the outside so that as people are driving down, they are aware of where we are, that we're leasing, and everything going on. You can see some of the upgrades that we've done here, some of the signs that we put. Honestly, some of the reports we get about 30% of our traffic from Zillow, about 25% of our traffic from Facebook Marketplace, and then the rest of it is just people driving by or referrals from existing residents. We do have a resident referral program. We'll pay someone, $250 if they refer their friend and they qualify, and then, another $500 if they bring someone else in. And all of these tricks are what has allowed us to keep our occupancy so high, 97% in July, and it dipped down a little bit. Here down to 88%, but we have some leases signed for people moving in October or later in September that are going to get us back up to 94%. We've got our website here. We've got videos of, what we've been doing and all the upgrades. And everybody that is leaving, when the occupancy dips down, the reason it's dipping down is because someone that was paying $700 a month for rent, well, when they get their renewal notice that their new rent is $1,250, if they can't afford us, they let us know that they're going to, exit the building. And because of our leasing efforts, we've been able to attract new residents to come in at that $1,250 number, no problem. And so even though it might look like, hey, occupancy is dipping a little bit, that might look like a problem, but realistically, the people that are leaving are the lowest paying residents so that we can fill them up with market rate residents. So over the course of the next, 6 to 9 months, we're going to get all of the residents paying less than $1,000 a month up to that market rent at, $1,100 or $1,200 a month. So we just see the income and net operating income improving over the next couple of months, just from renewals, even though most of our capital projects expenses are finished. And we've gotten good reviews on Facebook and Google. We've been using this program called Opinion. It's a way for us to send out survey requests to all the residents living there. So anytime somebody moves in successfully, about a week later, we'll send them a survey request, or once they move out, or once they've had a maintenance request completed successfully, we'll say, hey, do you guys want to get a rating on how well we did, 1 to 3 stars, actually will come to us. So if we need to address any concerns for the residents, we take care of that right away. If it's 4 or 5 stars, we say, hey, do you guys want to post on our Google page or on our Facebook page and let everyone know how you're pleased? And we've gotten, I want to say, Lindsay, up to over a 3.8 star rating. We've gotten like 30 something reviews. We've only had 1 3-star review since we've taken over. Everything else has been 5 stars and a few 4 stars. And that's mostly our on-site leasing. Shamita has done wonderful with keeping residents happy and entertained. You see some of the events that we put on. We did St. Patrick's Day, a Taco Tuesday. When the pool was finally open, we had a July 4th pool party for all the residents. We're out there grilling burgers, hot dogs, anything we can to let them know how much we appreciate them. And that really builds the trust and makes people happy to live there, refer their friends, and, understand that, hey, we're improving the project. It's not like it was before when maintenance requests weren't getting answered from the previous owner. And so it helps them refer their friends and renew their leases. So we've been happy about that.
And the young lady cooking the hamburgers is actually our regional manager working with Lindsay. So it's a total team effort. It's really is.
Yeah, everyone's been out there really putting some extra work in to make sure that everyone's feeling happy, safe, and glad to be a part of the community. So, and here you can see in the middle, Trevor did a back to school drive where he actually got backpacks for all the kids going back to school when they started up in August. So that was a excellent event. And not only helps the resident feel safe and good, but it does good for the community. So we're happy to be able to sponsor an event like that.
And Trevor was able to put together this event, and we did 18 backpacks. Every kid that was on property that wanted a backpack got a backpack full of school supplies.
And again, team effort. Our property manager actually got Verizon to donate the backpacks, who also sponsored the prizes at our pool party. And then we just purchased the school supplies. And again, the personal touch. Our manager wrote a personal note to every child with some treats and put them in the backpack. Those are the things that make people feel like you care about them. She literally wrote a personal note to their address to them, and that makes it a community. It really does.
All right. And yeah, this is where I was talking about that opinion software that we've been using. You can see, yeah, we've got 3.7 star rating over there on Google. You know, just from all the recent reviews that we've gotten, and all of them, I would say probably at least more than half call out our leasing agent on site by name and saying, hey, we feel great that she's here. She takes good care of us. So really hats off to her for doing such a good job with the community. But, you know, if you're a new resident, you know, I look at Yelp and Google for everything before I go to a restaurant, before I find a place to live and everywhere else. So, you know, if we used to have a 1.7 star rating on here, and, you know, apartments in general don't have good ratings online. Most of them are, you know, probably less than 3 stars. So the fact that we're over 3 stars makes us better than, you know, I'd say 70% of the competition out there. So here's a couple of the comments that people are saying about what it's like being there and the improvements that we've made. So it's, you know, obviously, you know, we all are investors. We all come into this to be profitable and make money, but we're also changing people's lives and making it good for them too. So it's nice to see. All right. Yeah. Here's some more of the data from the marketing efforts that we've done. You can see, you know, we've had, you know, since we've come on, what is this, 12,000 people have viewed our business profile. We've showed up in a lot of searches, you know, not necessarily just the name of the apartment, but, you know, the #1 rank is apartments near me. You know, if you're in San Antonio and you need a place to live and you're like, all right, well, let's, you know, get on our phone, get on our laptop. Where are we going to live? You know, this shows that we really are popping up in searches. So people are aware of us. We're coming online, and you know, before I mean, we were barely visible. I think we had, you know, something like 100 to 200 results a month, and now we're up to what, 600 or so coming in per month. So it's great to see, you know, how many people are looking for us and finding us, and that our marketing dollars are going further. We did try apartments.com for a little while. We weren't getting the traction that we wanted on there. And like I said, we've been getting better responses from just Google Drive By, Zillow, and Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, throwing everything that we possibly could at improving these ratings was a drastic marketing improvement. It was 27% more phone calls, 27% more click for directions, just night and day, going from that 1.7 to the 4.1 score that we're at now. So Google is definitely where it's at. And that is the bulk of our presentation. And I think we've got a question in the chat, and no question in the chat. Just a reminder from Trevor. Does anyone have any questions, or any of the team want to add anything to this?
So yeah, can we cover distributions, or did we do that and I missed it?
We did not cover distributions. Great question. And I have another slide in my blooper that we also missed out on, that I would love to make sure that we cover. No, I didn't. We went over the occupancy, the trend, and the rents, so we're good. So regarding distributions, we told everyone that we thought that it would be the third full quarter at least before we did any distributions. We feel like we're still on track for distributions. We have positive NOI. We have some of that CapEx reserves and savings. And so we're going to analyze at the end of September when we close the month. But so far it looks like we're on track to do distributions after the close of the financials in September, so in October.
So one thing I'll say to add to this is the reason that the net operating income is a little lower than we expected is when we took this property over, you know, in November, we had, I think, 6 units that were reporting that they were occupied, and those people either had already left or, you know, vacated immediately or needed eviction. So our vacancy ended up being more than we expected. And, you know, when we have more than we expect for vacancy, we have more units we have to turn very quickly. We have more, you know, people that are not, you know, giving us rent every month that we had expected, and we have more units to fill. So we were a bit behind with the original higher vacancy than we expected. So we worked quick. we're caught up now on the construction and the occupancy. So we are trending in the right direction for where we had expected. We're just a couple months behind because we had to fill a few extra units quickly that we didn't have to. So those first few units really brought down the NOI that we expected, but we're at the right trend now for where we should be.
Very good.
And we want to make sure we thank everybody for your trust in us, that, is there. And again, we take your money seriously. And just to make sure we remind you, us as general partners, until you're completely caught up on a 7% pref, we're not earning anything. So we're highly motivated to get you to that point. I don't think this first payment will get there, but we are highly motivated to get you there. Because again, we want to create better communities. We want to create safe places and good places for our investors to invest. But at the end of the day, as general partners, this is what we do for a living, and we take it seriously. We're professionals. As you can see, we got there, and we've got a very solid base that we think we're going to ride into the next few years. And we're just fine tuning it. We're not going to give up. And I just want to thank you for your trust in us, because it means a lot.
Yeah, good point, Charlie.
Thank you.
Hey, friends, Carlos has a question in the Q&A. Says, since we are around 70K behind on pro forma, can you kindly confirm the catch-up plan to increase revenue and the revised distribution amounts?
Sure, I can go over that. So as far as the amount to catch up, so the CapEx budget that we had, we're, right now we've only spent 400,000 of the 600,000 that we've spent. We'd like to keep 100,000 aside for repairs that may come up, but it looks like, we may have saved about $100,000 on our CapEx spend for the property. So we do want to hold on to those until we've filled everything and we're back on track with our NOI and pro forma where it should be before we disperse that. But as far as the catch up, it seems like the actual dollar for dollar hasn't been lost yet because we've made it up in the CapEx savings. Now, as far as the trend line, the only thing we're really needing to do is just get everybody that's not at market rent, that's paying $700, $800, $900 for current rents, that just had 12-month leases signed right when we took over, that we haven't had a chance to go in and ask them for a renewal yet. We're just getting those people up to market rent. And so, over the course of the next, 6 to 9 months, we should be able to get all of those people either to renew at market rent, or if they move out, we'll put a new resident in at market rent. So there's not a lot of construction that we could do. There's not any changes in marketing that we need to do. We just need to, keep pace with renewals and keep new residents coming in at market rate as fast as they're leading out. And it seems like that's the pace that we're going. So as far as our plan, in the next 6 to 9 months, everyone should be at market rate, and we'll be right on track for what we expect.
I think the second half of that question was distribution catch up. Ryan, would you review that again?
Sure. Yeah. So for distribution catch up, the class, I believe A2, that's just the 10 preferred rate of return. They're going to continue getting distributions on schedule. The A1, we're going to analyze, how much actual income we're going to take home this quarter, and that's what the distributions are going to be. So we expect it to be something probably pretty minimal. But once we get all of September's financial for the income and expenses, we'll be able to, have on our next letter what that distribution will be. I wouldn't expect much. It's just a little bit, just because, hey, we've gotten, out of the red and into the black.
We could include a copy too in the update of this, of our original pro forma. It was almost 3 years before we on our pro forma that we caught up on the full 7%. I'm just guessing the number, but it was close to that, because I remember thinking I had to get that quicker so we could get there. But we can include a copy of that in our next update. I think that will be helpful for people to see what we promised and what we delivered, where we're at.
Great idea. Any other questions or comments, guys? Well, then, as Trevor said, thank you so much for your partnership. It's deeply personal to us. We look forward to continuing to serve you in this investment. And if you have any questions or comments that you want to bring to your sponsor offline, give any one of us a shout, and we'd be happy to help.
Thanks, everybody.
Good job, team. You all did a good job. Really,
Thanks.
really love doing business with all of you. Thanks for partnering with us.
Thank you, Senate.
Thanks, Tony. Take care.